more of them going into this grand final. So if you're just joining us, it is the grand final of the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals. This is the grand final. It will be a best of 3, and we are going into our first game, as we're going to start with Metchu from Tompinai with their first attack.
Yeah, so we've got the Zapquake Hydra coming in, and the Zapquake already sectioning off. You can see this clearly defining the path for the Queen moving through. But we've got this Golem to the side skirts doing some tanking, and this is going to have to be for the Royal Champion. We've got to get something coming in, because otherwise it seems somewhat wasteful that it didn't help with the King or Queen. It seems like it's going to be on its lonesome there. So King and Queen going to have to work together and do some more, just pick up value. We want to take that Eagle down. That's a huge factor. You can leave it to the back end, but when you can get an easy early cleanup, it's great because it limits the damage coming in. I also want to point out the fact for the Hydra, we have 8 dragons here and only 2 drag riders. When you can get a really narrowed out, clear defined path where there's limited spread of the defenses, you can use this limited drag rider structure within this and get even more power out of your dragons that will help with the clear up along the way that also tank for those defenses.
You can see this continue on, just focusing on that northern compartment, but the drags will be coming out on the southern side just to make sure to take up that AD. I love how they're going to use that rocket loon to try and do as much damage to the AD as possible, as well as tanking some of that damage for these drags with the warden as well. You can see like 1 or 2 drag riders in the mix as well, and we know how good they've been used to the best of their ability, getting a lot of value out of them. And in terms of spell usage, they've still got a rage spell in the back pocket. He needs to use it just to give these drags a bit of a kick in the backside. But the Blimp Nose heading towards that Town Hall, just taking a fair amount of damage here, but will be able to make it into that compartment. It's just a matter of actually being able to take down that Town Hall. So we'll find a few loons. We'll find that Dragon Rider as well. But this is looking extremely good for Metchu here. Don't get me wrong, there's still a fair amount to do on the northern side, but let's be real here. The RC is going to clean that up beautifully, going towards the southern side as well, just making sure these drags don't really take too much DPS from MCES, and it's looking very strong so far. 45 seconds left. Still got to do a little bit more into the center as well.
I mean, those ground bows latched onto her isn't ideal, but she's cleared out a huge compartment here, and he's got so much power left over between the dragons and the drag riders because they were able to bypass the Town Hall poison bomb with the use of the blimp, cutting back in, getting towards the center of the base. We might see some traps coming through. Biggest factor is the time issue here. 26 seconds left to go. We've got the storages to worry about, but with them converging together, if they're using their force or fire together, it will get the job done, maybe just in time. This Electro Owl also helping to secure, unfortunately, no chains on it at this point. It's going to be close, Lethal. That storage is going to hold things up. Is it going to be enough time with 3 seconds left? Oh, and we've got the builder hut that they did not get to. Oh, and it's a 99% for Tompinai to start off with. I did not even see that builder hut there completely blending in. Oh, it's a good way to start. 99%, don't get me wrong. But he really wanted to see the 3-star against MCES.
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact, though, that they still need to triple here on out, no matter what the circumstances are. Of course, 99% is, it's rare to get on some occasions, but, it doesn't change the fact that they need to get a perfect ward in order to, not go to that time fail this time round, but also won't go to time at the end because they now can't get a perfect ward either. And I know some of you in chat were asking about, what's the prize pool? Like who wins what here? Well, first place, they will get $18,000 and second place will bag $9,000. So there is a $9,000 difference. This one series will cost that $9,000. And you can see that Tribe Gaming did place 4th with $5,000. And alternate attacks also get 5,000 for third. So still a nice chunk of change here coming into this, and it's going to be even nicer or sweeter, you could say, if they manage to win this. But it's all about pride as well. More about pride more than anything, not just prize money here. As already starting with the Queen on that northern side, having to deal with that Lava Hound as well, just to delay things a little bit before she moves into the compartment.
Yeah, so we use the Yeti Blimp with the Rage combination because of the proximity of the heroes, and he's able to not only nab the Inferno, but also take down the defending RC here as well. And I'm looking to see where the extra scatter shot is. I see it down at the bottom, so both scatter shots still up on the board. But the Queen has easy path moving through, and he's lined this up. You can see the opening in that corner compartment for the Town Hall. Just needs to make sure that the Queen has access. But does this mean we're going to see the King coming in for the Eagle? Because he's got big openings in there as well. Just needs his Queen to step up to the plate. And She's not going for the Town Hall, so gets another additional wall break coming in. I gotta say, there's a lot of wall breaks being thrown down, and we're not seeing enough coming in. But I think he wants to secure that queen is on the right direction before making any additional judgment calls. But with the openings, we've got the hybrid started off and ready to go. And we can use the king to help corral this back in place. Slightly delayed, we see the position down at the 4 o'clock side. That's going to just try and push him a little bit deeper down towards a cannon.
Yeah, it makes sense what you said about the queen earlier. I think it's just for extra insurance, wasn't it? So she can funnel on through and actually avoids the poison from that town hall, which is going to do wonders just due to the fact that the healer's having to deal with that sweeper. But we'll see how much longer the queen can survive as the ability will be popped at that final moment. Has to deal with the Inferno Tower as well, but not really in range. He has got to break through that wall, but there's another multi-Inferno you can see there from the southern side doing a fair amount of damage. But 50 seconds left, still got a chunk of the base to go through on the western side as well. On top of things, I only got one spell left. The king is still alive, but still not really got much HP to work with, but can still continue to help avoid that time fail if it does come to it. But the queen, again, having to break through another structure, dropping that final spell just to keep that queen alive, which is perfectly understandable. The scatter shot should get cleaned up now. The RC coming in the nick of time. It looks like this will be a triple for MCES, and it could be a sign of things to come here in this first game.
Yeah, this was an easy move from Kingsman coming through with that Royal Champion and her ability in his back pocket. I had my eyes on that queen and the healers because the healers, unfortunately, were suffering some nasty damage being dealt by that scatter shot. Nearly got wiped out. It's redirected its focus, and the queen was actually able to break through the wall, get that multi down, which really helped the pathing. But all in all, he had so much power within that raid, and a lot of that is the way he positioned his king to help keep the force and movement just cutting through inside the base, keeping those miners trained inside. You have to worry when you use those miners because they don't directly target defenses like hogs do. They'll split out, spread out, and you can lose the main push. You need that extra front line power from them to keep the hogs also at bay. Now React coming in with the Queen Charge Drag Rider, again, one of the most popular strategies that we're getting to see. And we get to see it quite a bit from Tompinai here, a strategy that they're really excelling at. But it makes sense because we're talking about some of the best Queen Chargers around within this team. So it was a nice navigation through for them in this new updated meta.
You're right, though. It's easily the most popular composition. It literally doubled the attack amount in terms of everything else combined. It was mad how much it was used. And even from the get-go as well, nice to see good use of these Dragon Riders. The Rage Spell comes down onto the Queen to keep her alive to go into the Scanner Shot compartment. And the Scanner Shot does get one more attack off, but it's just too late. There's too much healing power for that Queen in order to then execute into that compartment. Again, taking out the Expo and the Cannon. And then's got free roam to do what she wishes here. And you've got the King as well as the RC coming in from the south side, going straight into that Inferno Tower, straight away to take down that compartment. And like you said before, we've got 5 Dragon Riders coming out here for React. And we can see what he can do. But already into a fantastic start, but has to drop the invisibility spell and the rage spell again on the Queen, just to make sure to keep her alive for extra insurance.
Yeah, he does have the blimp for the Town Hall here. And what I'm curious to see is because this Eagle has not gone down, I was assuming ideally he wants his pathing to force the Queen along into the multi-compartment. So he switches up, actually. He's going to allow the Queen to be through, take on the Town Hall. I'm curious to see what he's got in the CC. I'm assuming no goblins, likely bringing in those extra drag riders and loons for it that would have taken on the Town Hall. But a nice adjustment here coming in, and that takes down the Eagle quickly, giving even more just reprieve for these drag riders to come in. The Queen's done exceptional work as well, and being able to hold on to the ability is huge as she works her way through to the back end of the base, because we've got the air defense that she's going to pick off, and just the pathing that this navigates for the drag riders is absolutely superb. Just simple, clean cut coming in towards that scatter shot there as they knock it down.
Yeah, great use of that Stone Slammer earlier on. Great positioning as well to tank a lot of that damage from the rest of the composition. Still 40 seconds left, though. The Dragon Riders are thinning out, and it looks like they haven't really got much HP either, as well as that Warden. But seems to be okay. I'm just checking around in terms of defensive. The archer tower's down. I think there's no more defenses left, which means there's all going to be about that timing. He's got a huge amount of minions on that back line as well. There's still the Dragon Rider there, and so there's the Owl and a few minions just catching up here. Looks like it's going to be perfectly fine. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that storage, but it's on half health. So long as it get rid of a couple of these mines and that storage, it should be perfectly fine. We'll be kind of close, but React will get that triple, which Tompinai desperately required in order to keep this as competitive as possible against MCES. And there we have it. React gets Tompinai's first triple in this war.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about this beautiful triple that comes in, which has followed up a 99% 2-star. And these 99s, they're a tricky one because they could do some great work and they can also be your demise. You think back to this last ATN match where we had the 99, these 99%, they can swing a war, that 1% difference, but it can also be a big determining factor, 4% overall. Now, Remio coming in, he is one of the most amazing Lalo attackers that we get to see. He comes up with a lot of creative strategies when he does this, but going a little bit more straightforward, we have the Zap Wall Wrecker Lalo. Now he's cleared out the path leading to the town hall. He's going for the safer approach on this one. Why risk it for bringing in that blimp, risking any possible traps along the way? But there's a lot of Teslas that are trying to hold up this Wall Wrecker, but because it's still just an easy, a fairly narrow push coming in, he's able to make his passage straight through to the town hall unscathed and get that taken down.
Great start here from Remio. Now, what's going to be next for him? He has a huge amount of balloons coming out soon. The Ice Golem will come out. So will the Warden, the Queen, and the RC actually comes out on that 9 o'clock side to focus on the defense in that west compartment, taking out the AD and the Inferno Tower next straight after. But the King will come out straight away towards that scatter shot. And this is perfect synchronization here from Remio, because continuing to do damage. He wants this next triple in order to keep that 1-star lead. But a visibility spell comes out for the RC just to keep it alive and just trying to save visibility as well whilst it's pushing on forward. But again, as we can see from that the 8 o'clock side, the Queen is just continuing to push on the center, but the King's already dived straight in, does get taken down earlier on. The RC is still alive, but it does get cleaned up earlier on as well on that 10 o'clock compartment. So it doesn't take down the Eagle, but the Queen might be able to. The Queen, of course, is going to be focused down straight after. Pops the ability a little bit earlier than required just to make sure it does get cleaned up, which it does, and we're going to see how much more value that Queen gets later on. But the bulk of the attack now be coming up from that free side.
That King and Yak value was huge, also giving the Queen the opportunity to pick off that Eagle, exactly what he wanted to see out of it. And despite this being what I said was kind of more of a traditional safe approach, Remio showing the power of his hero dives and how he clearly calculates every bit of percent he wants to pick up. We've got beautiful value coming out of that Ice Hound, absolutely freezing over the back end, giving these loons the opportunity and the ice pops to pick off that AD. But he's got every single loon pretty much that he started with coming through, parading along to take down the remaining structures with more than enough time on the clock as he has beautifully spread out those minions for the cleanup, being very mindful of each and every section here of this base. Remio truly showing his nature, and this is why I often call him Remy OP. MCES keeping the 3 stars rolling strong for their team, now 2 for 2.
It's sickening, isn't it? It makes it look so damn easy, and it's such a pain because everyone else trying to execute it, they would have some trouble, but he's just like, I'm right, it's pretty much smooth sailing. But you're right though, what you were talking about the Queen and the King earlier on, they did get a huge amount of value. Even though the RC couldn't get to take down that Eagle, the Queen had a clear path towards it anyway. Yeah, sure, she had a probability a little bit earlier, but again, it's that insurance, making sure it's guaranteed, because but Eagle Artillery was still there, we wouldn't have seen that triple. It would have been much, much tougher, and it would have been way too much DPS for Remio to even handle. So at least he took them down earlier, then the bulk of the attack came on the 3 o'clock side, and it was basically clean sailing from there, like I already mentioned. So Remio continued to do great stuff, and already back-to-back triples, looking for that third later on in the third attack. But first, though, we're going to see Amu Alin from Tompinai and see what he can do to keep Tompinai in this match.
Yeah, so we've got Amu Alin coming in with the Queen charge Lalo, and I'm noticing the blimp here, waiting to see how he decides to use it, if he wants to bring it in for this town hall compartment, since the Queen is on the opposite side of the base. But we are starting to see the meta shift a little bit too, where we're seeing blimps help to section out the core of the base as well, where we have the damage zone. This is kind of kicking it old school again, where we used to see this, this pathing for the blimps to sail in and take care of those cores. Now the queen has a nice direction going in, but notice that he has to really navigate the pathing by dropping in that Yeti to force the queen along into the scattershot compartment with no wall breakers left over, no jump. My guess would have been going towards the blimp core, the core of the base, but the king has not been able to take down that town hall, so he is going to need it here instead. But this queen still has a lot of cleanup work to do, and the pathing, I would say, isn't looking necessarily ideal, considering we've got a scattershot redirected on the opposite side. So we drop in, we're splitting this up, bringing in the stone slammer, and he's going to make some big adjustments now for this.
Oh, since the queen's ability was popped at Igor, I tell you, we focused on the healers, but the queen pretty much done the damage anyway, going straight into that scatter shot with the RC, the stone slammer, like you rightly mentioned, coming in as well. Just Sweeper trying to push it back as much as possible to delay this push as much as possible. But Igor again focusing now on the RC, but the stone slammer has definitely outstayed his welcome, stayed alive a lot longer than we anticipated. Luckily, the RC was actually not just tanking the damage, was actually having the damage prioritized onto him. But the loons will be coming up from the north side with the warden now going towards that town hall, and the lava hound just tanking the damage from the AD. He's got to be very careful here how he's going to approach this. The Igor is down south, will be up for a little bit longer, has frozen everything around him, and the town hall is still up, and there's only a couple of loons there using the rage spell to try and take it down. And look at this here, B. You can see that he has to bring out a couple more loons just in case of safety reasons, in case that town hall doesn't get taken down. It has to waste another haste spell just to guarantee it.
Yeah, and it's exactly what he needed to do. Oh, this is every bit of recovery that Almoal needs to do to get in this, but knowing that MCES already has the star advantage just puts them a mighty bit a ways. But I gotta say, great recovery coming in, and we clearly know that that blimp was meant to come in for the core of the base because we saw the Yetis coming out of that. That was meant to take down the multi, so this plan did not go the way he expected it to. That king ideally would have helped to take on that town hall. And even if he hadn't, he would have liked to have sectioned off more of the base, having to start off with the stone slammer and the royal champion just to take out that 3 o'clock side really hurt this one as well. But 77% considering all went wrong on that, and he had to do some huge adjustments, is a great way to keep the momentum going for them. But MCES can really capitalize off of it now.
Another advantage for MCES. MCES just not giving anything away or just really not letting anything go. Very, very little room for any errors. And Tompinai are starting to feel it now. And with that percentile as well, I can't see them coming back in this. I know it's quite early, but again, look at how MCES have been playing. If they get another triple hit, it could be curtains for them already in this first game, but we'll wait and see. Your jinxing skills have been very good so far today, actually, B. So I'm not a superstitious person, but for anyone who is, then don't get me wrong, as MC has probably given an eye on you now to make sure you don't say anything to ruin their chances. But Tompinai have always been a team where they are very good at making these comebacks anyway. Even though that last series against alternate attacks was more, they were just very lucky, we have to say, in terms of making that one fatal mistake. But yeah, we'll have to see if they can be able to create any more chances to bring themselves back in this matchup. Fate is not in their hands once again because of those two-star attacks out of the 3 they've had. I'm just having a look so far on what we're going to see. 40 Hog Riders, that's a fair amount, B.
Oh, I'm so excited. Sithe coming in with the Hogs. This is what you came for. This is exactly what you want to see when MCES is playing. And not only that, look at this insane Skelly Lalo drop. Beautiful spread across, taking out the core of the base. So what do we eliminate with that? We've got I'm looking to see if he got the Clan Castle troops and the scatter shots, but I think he got both scatter shots with that and the Clan Castle troops. My goodness, that was some insane value. That's just giving it away to a player like Sithe. Oh my goodness, what a great way to start this raid. Now, with the heroes coming in to pick up the Town Hall compartment, we're seeing very limited defensive pathing for these Hogs right up along the 3 to 12 o'clock side of the base. The King's clearing out a beautiful path, but we're going to have to set the Hogs just a little bit earlier to the sides because we do have those wizards to worry about and the air defenses, but it'll easily navigate through right up towards that Eagle compartment.
I think it's the first time we've seen this type of layout of a base actually in in the finals just in general here. And look at the Hog Riders, you know, you were talking about before. I know you were getting very giddy and excited, but here they come to try and turn up the EUR artillery charge as much as it can to keep them at bay. It's not going to happen though, as the amount of damage it did at the very beginning, we're not too sure if React will have enough defense, enough DPS here to keep these Hog Riders back. But a few spring traps here and there have kept them at bay just a little bit here so far. It's going towards those cannons and that wizard tower on that southern side. But then again, the RZ has popped out to say hello towards that 10 o'clock. Defense is pushing towards the archer tower, the 2 cannons as well. Still looking very, very solid here, but the only worry I have is those 2 inferno towers coming on in and if it will have enough. But it still has a fair amount of Hog Riders now pushing in towards the center, going towards those builder huts and the inferno tower as well. But the RC has so much health and it's actually syncing perfectly with these Hog Riders, and you can see obviously a couple of wizards on the north side on cleanup duty, just getting all the dirty work done and does it. But Simply though, looking to head towards a triple. There's no more defense in left B. It's looking so good, and it's nice to see a different variety of strategies coming in, especially this one, because we're not really seeing much of a base layout such as this either. And I must say that was fantastic execution.
Oh, you know, I gotta say this, but you have to be very careful when you're going up against MCES, what kind of value you're giving them. Because of Synthé, he is notorious with that Skelly Donut spell, looking to pick up scatter shots and Clan Castle troops, and he gave him all of it. He got 2 of those scatter shots and the CC just in one fell swoop. Great investment of the spells, and as we saw, we only had that 1 heal to come in protect that massive pack of hogs that worked on the bottom side. It was a beautiful split because the Royal Champion came in from a side where there was limited damage. Let's be honest, we took on all that heavy damage early on with the Eagle Artillery, with the hogs, and of course the scatter shots coming in. But this is keeping MCES through 3-4-3. And you said, you know, you're talking about their boot camp. I'm wondering if they wound up going to like the Cobra Kai boot camp, because there is no mercy today.
Do you know what? You just reminded me. I need to watch the last season of that. But yeah, just look at it so far. Like, it's a shame really, because even that 2-star 99%, it's not a huge deal, because at the end of the day, I feel like MCES will still have to get a perfect war. That doesn't change the fact. It just means it doesn't come to time. It just means it's a guaranteed victory if they do get it. But the 77% is definitely going to hinder them massively. And seeing the way MCES are playing so far, I didn't expect them to come out swinging as they have done, but they had some right belters of an attack here and there. In all 3 of the attacks, shall we say, in all of those triples. So it does mean that Tompinai do need back-to-back triples to at least give them some kind of leeway in this matchup. If they don't know, it means that MCES will have a nice juicy start in the series with the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, so we've got the Zapquake down. This is not only connecting the path for the Queen, but you can already see it clearly defining what the Dragons are going to need to shape up their path. And I'm kind of looking at the space, seeing the 2 scatter shots here and thinking about great Warden value, especially because we've got the Queen right there along that outskirt edge. So you're going to pop that Warden ability early. I would say ideally with Headhunters, but we don't necessarily need them. But that Warden ability will get some great positioning out of it coming into that core where it's much needed. Now the Queen and King working simultaneously together to take that Town Hall down, but we also want to try and eliminate some of the CC troops. But if we don't, again, we're dealing with Dragons, so they can take that front line and quickly sweep across and knock them down. But this isn't just the Dragons. We've got some Drag Riders, but he is holding on to 1 of these, right? Finally getting it down and bringing it through. It's curious to see if he was going to use it a little bit further towards the back end of the base, but he does bring it in with the main pack.
Down to Stone Slammer coming out from the 2 o'clock side. Still has a couple of Rocket Loons as well. I'm being curious to see what he prioritizes. Maybe an AD on the outside, or maybe something else which he was looking to. And he still has 1 rage spell left if he wants to speed this attack up. Has 90 seconds. It does drop it down, funny enough. The RC comes out from the south side as well to try and take out these defenses before it comes. And look at that. The Rocket Loons do come out, do take up the AD on that 3 o'clock position. Makes absolute perfect sense. Good use from that. Good amount of value, as well as the Dragon Rider, of course, helping to clean up the rest of the defenses in that 3 o'clock compartment. But the problem is, though, the RC is still alive, but we haven't got many units left. Still have that Dragon Rider on the right-hand side. The Dragon with the RC is about to get taken down, and there's only a minute left remaining. The RC is going towards the scatter shot. It's all about that cleanup, all about that time potential fail, depending on the circumstances. There's still the defensive King that can cause a massive distraction. And it's going to be very tough. If the Dragon Rider was taking it down first, it could have been a different story, but it's not, as the King does take down the RC, which means a time fail is even more possible depending on how quickly he can clean up the rest of his structures.
Well, the thing is, these drag riders go first and foremost for the defenses. As long as there's defenses on the board, the drag riders are going to go for it. This king will trip up the dragon and the minions coming in, and we've got a lot of storages to worry about. But if the king can keep the focus a little bit further down, the drag rider can work up to the storage. Maybe, just maybe, there could be enough time, but it is still running the risk of a potential 99%, and the drag rider goes down to the bottom structure. It goes for the king, and it will not make its way up to the storage, which means it is another 99% coming in for Tompinai in this first matchup of a best of 3.
I think it's curtains. I think we're going to have to be honest, it is curtains now in the first game. That was a real shame that King didn't have to too much, just sit there and just look pretty, really, so he can take that damage to stop the 100% occurring. But they needed that, let's be honest. You can't beat around the bush. You have to be brutally honest and say that, yeah, you know, the chance of MCES getting a 0 start in one of his next games is highly, highly unlikely. And Tompinai now just have to try and carry on through. But speaking of going on through, it looks like MCES will breeze through this game. And yeah, they're going to be extremely happy with the start they've had in this war, which also means they've de-rusted and warmed up going into the tournament setting, and they could become even better or even stronger, dare I say it, going into this second game, which Tompinai will definitely take into account. So we now see MCES are going to be making a start now. If they get this triple, it's pretty much a guaranteed here, with the blimp dropping down there as well, with the invisibility and rage spells coming in.
Wow, that was a deep dive in, and look at that, right? The channel that he lands in, so he can pick up the scatter shot on that outside edge, and also pick up some just insane value. This is beautiful, clearing out the core of the base, taking down the Inferno, taking down the scatter shot. Great value. I was holding my breath there as he made the push in, but gets it perfectly. I'm telling you, these Blizzards, they always make, I never trust them. Never.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you in the slightest. 2 minutes left. The Queen now making her approach towards that southern side from the north. Already done a fair amount, just going to be delayed a little bit whilst the King makes its mark, going towards the south side again, sorry, towards the west to take out a lot of his structures, but almost taken down there. I don't think he's popped his ability as of it. I think he might have already done so. I'm not really too sure. I know he hasn't, so he's going to go straight on into the town hall. Great funneling there as well. The Queen will follow suit eventually. Will he be able to take down the town hall? Should be okay here. Just be able to stay alive. The Queen will come in just for extra insurance. Just back up here to take down that town hall. Has to pop her ability as well, just to guarantee it. But we'll be going straight into the poison note from the town hall. But actually has avoided it a little bit here, which means that she will be able to stay alive. And look at that, the Queen literally borderline on the edge to get as much value as possible. The loons are coming in now from the south side and looking to create more havoc here using those haste spells.
Now, I'm a little bit worried about the multi on the back end. Obviously, it doesn't matter for MCES right now because they have solidified their position in this one with an amazing lead so far, going 3 for 3, looking to push it 4 for 4. But he's got a lot of loons left over, and he's holding on to the baby dragon and minion. These loons working in packs together can quickly work along some of the splash items, but we do have the wizard tower surrounding the baby drag coming in. He's going to help with the cleanup. I mean, let's be honest, he's got so many loons left over. It doesn't matter what this multi throws at. It doesn't matter that we have the wizard tower surrounding. He's got enough power left over, particularly with the warden, to try and help take this down. Now, I think the biggest problem you would consider would be time, because on the north side of the base, we still see that storage up. Minions are trying to work their way along, but they need to bypass that multi in order to get to it and have some steam to help finish the job here. And that's exactly what they do. The warden, the final power to take down that multi-targeting Inferno as the loons thin out from the defenses, with the minions powering along to the storage. This means we are going to see MCES going 4 for 4. They are aiming for this potential perfect war in this first matchup.
I don't think we've had any perfect wars in the finals. Normally it's more of a characteristic trait from alternate attacks. We don't see them anymore, sadly, but we didn't see any perfect wars from them. A lot of 14 stars, though, for a lot of their wars and a lot of their games in the past. But yeah, MCES could bring the first one to the table here, which is something we'd love to see. And Tompinai are going to be thinking to themselves going to the next game, you know, they basically perfected us almost, and depending on what the next attack's going to be for MCES, like, what more can we do here? And this is the great thing for MCES. They haven't revealed too many strategies or their base builds coming to this grand final. So Tompinai are actually coming into this matchup blind, whilst at the same time, Tompinai have revealed quite a lot from their last couple of matchups against alternate attacks and tribes. So, you know, it's very difficult for them. And this is already quite an aggressive attack from Kreesan, now coming with the Queen as well from that southern side, just trying to take out a few bits and pieces. And now looking to see what you can do to create this funnel, just trying to take down the storage. But I'm sure you've seen it already here, B. Still got 4 Dragon Riders, still got 5 Loons as well, and quite a wide variety of spells here. So we're going to see how he's going to make this execution.
Yeah, so we already have the Queen veering her path right towards that multi-targeting Inferno with the 2 super wall breakers. You know, this is what I wanted. Well, we have the jump. Let's be honest. We have the jump to lead the way towards this town hall here. But we've got to make sure that the Queen doesn't wind up in that multi-compartment getting hung up in there and just veering her direction. So we've got to wait and see how he actually positions this jump, if he wants to try and avoid that multi-targeting Inferno, or if he trusts his Queen to do that and get the job done here. If we see it placed slightly along the outskirts, he is worried about a little bit of distraction. Otherwise, he knows he can rely on the Queen. But either way, we see the pathing narrowed out for these drag riders to potentially start from the 3 to 430 side of the base. I mean, we've got a perfect spread. We're talking about 4 lines of defenses for those 4 Dragon Riders to equally split up on.
They do indeed, as the Loons coming in hot into the center to try and down that Inferno Tower. But look at the amount of air traps there. There was a huge amount, which means that multi-Inferno is going to get even more value against the attacking portion of Kreesan. And you can see there's a bit of havoc being made on that 3 o'clock side. The Loons and the Dragon Riders have popped in to try and take in the Eagle Artillery. There's still a fair amount of defense left, and that multi-Inferno we were talking about earlier on, B, it's actually still doing a lot more work than which is actually additionally required. Did take out some of the troops on the left-hand side, but the RC is going to have to come in and change a different path to take down that Inferno Tower. Still, though, not looking too bad. The only problem is you've got that huge Tesla farm. We've got the scatter shot, as well as that AD in the Wizard Tower for that splash damage. So it's going to be very difficult to see what they can do. But the Dragon Riders haven't taken a huge amount of damage as of yet. As I said that, though, the scatter shot did get that last shot off beforehand. So even if you manage to clear up these defenses, thanks to the RC coming in from the southern side, it could be depending on how time is going to work in their favor.
Yeah, this is a beautiful pathing for this. And, you know, that Queen did exactly what she needed to do. She got just enough value, nice, smart move, holding on to that Royal Champion. And I think there was a weight there because he knew that the Queen was still in a position that she could almost potentially, she could have reached the multi-targeting Inferno, but just a little bit distracted when she got into the Town Hall. And that was a safe approach to ensure that she actually made her way through, got her objective, which gives Kreesan just to the second enough time to pick up that 3-star. But very important to have that Royal Champ cutting across, despite that ground bow still being up, had enough firepower in her to help out those drag riders. But that's all about the pathing because it was so narrowed out. You saw the 4 drag riders that he had were beautifully split up along those defenses, nice and compact, working through.
It really was. Even though Tompinai are pretty much down and out at this point, at least MCES can now try and go for his perfect war just to add to their confidence and momentum going into the next one, because we could be seeing a clean sweep here. But Tompinai, you know, they tried to stop alternate attacks earlier on, which they did, but it means that they're going to have to try and get the reverse sweep in these next couple of games. It's definitely doable. We've seen it time and time again on a few occasions in the competitive scene in numerous different events and tournaments, but we'll have to see if they can do it against MCES. And even that in itself is a tall order, as already creating a bit of carnage there into that 7 o'clock compartment, taking everything out apart from that last builder hat and cannon, but that's going to be fine. Could be using that 1 Dragon Rider here to take down those couple of Archer Towers, but actually swayed down to the south side to take out the Wizard Tower instead. And I'm not too sure if he'll be able to take out in time, which it doesn't matter too much because now the RC can at least take that down anyway, using that invisibility spell to keep him alive to take down the multi-Inferno on top.
I know, I don't like calling things early, but after that Zapquake and seeing what the heroes are going to pick up, I'm already calling it a 3-star. That's an easy path for 7 drag riders. We're talking about 7 drag riders because he did not go with the Queen charge. Easy path for the King to come in, take the tank for the Queen. And I mean, she still has her ability and the Unicorn alive. If she stays out of the poison spell, she might have enough opportunity to heal back up and take care of more cleanup. We do have the 2 scatter shots to worry about, but with the Stone Slammer here, that's going to provide excellent tanking. And let's not forget the Warden's ability to help out on this. Now we want to use the Warden's ability, timed perfectly, coming right out. Ooh, well, this is coming on a slightly different approach than I expected to see, because that Stone Slammer coming directly for the Scattershot compartment, but edging to the outskirts. This timing of the Warden ability critical because of the defending Queen, so he needs to force that along, and that also helps pick up the Scattershot as well, keeping these Drag Riders safely through. And look, we still have the Queen alive. Uses that freeze. That keeps her going even stronger through this, but the Drag Riders coming in to pick up and take down that single targeting Inferno.
You called it being much earlier on than anticipated. He's got so much value at the very beginning. Look at this. The Dragon Riders, literally, there's so many of them. None of them thinned out at all. Barely took any damage. And I must say, this is a fantastic way to end this for MCES in this first game. Just waiting for everyone else to finish up their cleanup duty. Again, a very fast attack. And you're talking earlier about how at the very beginning, but it's going to give them a huge amount of leeway to gain this perfect war, and they definitely did. These Drag Riders have been used time and time again, used in many different compositions in numerous different ways, and again, just causing havoc once more. 40 seconds left, don't gonna matter in the slightest. It will be the first perfect war in this final as MC